Welcome to Minnesota. Podcast, we talk about us arriving here, our trip, what we're going to be doing in the next week or so. And we asked...
Crack him if you got him, son!
Let's go. How about them Cowboys?
Crack him if you got him. Yeah! Woo! Let's go, baby! Please hit him. Somebody punch him, please.
Hey, you want one of these? Coors?
Dude, you got a yellow belly. You knew exactly what
I know, you were looking me up and down. I knew what you wanted. You want a banquet?
Yes.
Crack him if you got him.
Jerry! Pick us up, Jerry! We're not worthy!
Cowboys can fan.
Cowboys can.
Like Canadian fan, can fan.
Oh.
Cowboys can't fan.
Love Canada.
Yeah.
I'll look you up.
Awesome, thanks brother. Take care, man. And look, that's how you get subscribers. And nowadays age, it's a dog eat dog world. It's a dog eat dog world. We got to go on the street to get subscribers now.
I'll be like, there'll be a guy at the grocery store and I'll hear him say something about Facebook. I'm like, oh, you do Facebook? You ever heard of CanFan? At Cowboys CanFan. Have you ever checked us out at Cowboys CanFan on any major platform? Because we're on all of them.
Dude, go to tiktok.com/@CowboysCanFan.
We have a channel, yeah.
What's your channel?
Cowboys Can Fan.
I'm gonna watch that. I'm
Cowboys
from Puerto
what?
Rico.
Here we go, yeah, here we go, yeah, here we go. And still in Arlington, he's not in Buffalo yet, he's not in Buffalo yet, but we going to Buffalo this Sunday to boosh it up, baby, boosh it up, baby, boosh it up, baby. What's up, CanFan Nation? Let's hear some noise. No? Am I the only one that's hyped up right now?
Well, I can't, if the song's going, because I'm oh and the song's going and you're screaming, I don't hear anything. So I'm just like, I'm just going like this. I just go like this until I can hopefully hear again.
Can you hear this though?
Crack him if you got him, son. Actually, what, can you hear this one?
We kind of heard your little, like, little,
Sound like a little bird.
your little, like, ooh,
Crack him if you got him, son. Look at that on this fresh off of George W. Eagles week, baby. I'm still hyped on that. It's been quiet, fellas. It's been quiet online. People have not been chirping. Eagles fans have all disappeared because they can't chirp right now. They've lost to the other top two teams in the NFC. They got smoked out by San Fran 42-10. Then the Cowboys smoked their bitch asses 33-13, which could have even been a bigger beatdown. So let's just say this. It has been quiet on the socials.
It feels like it's The Last of Us. And like everyone's gotten infected and now we're like, it's quiet when we're out in the outer perimeters. You know what I'm saying?
I like that. It definitely. And if anyone, any type of fan base is kind of like the Infectos, it's the Philly fans. So that's a great setup.
100% it's the Philly fans. And we just want to say before we kind of dive into everything, what's up, chat? We see you. We see you, Math. We see you, Michael Clark. We see
Chat's
you.
up in this. Chat is up in
Daryl
here.
Painter. We see you, Kilo Supermod C.
Hey-o.
Gus, we see you. Albert Young rolling up. We see you.
We see everyone.
And then everybody else.
We see everyone. We see everyone. Bandwagon boys, how you guys doing? I hate being out of office.
Oh,
I fucking hate it. I hate it so much.
We hate you when you're out of office.
I agree. I would hate me also. But how you guys doing?
Doing well. Thanks for asking.
That's it? That's all you're going to give us is just a doing well?
Yeah. at the moment, I'm just grabbing.
He's,
some stuff.
I was gonna say AJ is 100% doing something behind the scenes right now. So Ad, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing fantastic. I'm wearing the new Texas Coast Offense shirt, which you can get at cowboyscanfan.com/store. For any other merch you want, like a Philly Sucks shirt, because we beat their ass, you can get it there too. But I'm doing great. It's Wednesday. You know, I got the immediate people in my life that unfortunately are Eagles fans. I was able to walk up to them just with arms raised. So I felt.
Why
good.
do you have Eagles fans in your immediate life?
Just in the building that I work at.
Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Yeah, you can.
They're not in my close friends group, so they're just they're in my vicinity.
Even easier to get rid of then.
They're in my vicinity. And I won I placed first in regular season in one of the leagues, and I won $400, so it was a good weekend.
That's
Beat
called
the
the Boosh
Eagles.
week.
Beat the
Eagles lose.
Plus, I won that bet against that other guy who just came at me with the Eagles bet. So I did $500 this weekend, boys.
All on the gift of the Cowboys smacking. This is what happens. Good things happens to everybody involved when the Cowboys put an absolute ass whooping down on those bitch ass Eagles. Man, that feels good. There's one game I wanted to win. It was that one. Of course, I would have loved to sweep the Eagles. That would have been the cherry on top. Not to mention it would have had us in the actual first place in the NFC. So it's kind of tricky right now because I'd sent in chat in our DMs and Instagram that the Cowboys in the NFC standings were first place in the NFC East. But that's just a stipulation because the Eagles haven't played all their divisional matchups. So the Cowboys have won more games in the division, but the Eagles still play 2 more games in the division. So if the Eagles end up winning out, they finish first place in the NFC East. So even if the Cowboys and Eagles both finish, go undefeated for their last 4 games.
So Eagles need a little sneaky loss against the Giants. I think they play them twice.
Giants play. I mean, anyone, even if the Seahawks beat them on Monday night, that still puts us in first place because then we'll be tied broken on conference wins and losses. And then if the Giants beat them, then 100% we will clinch. But Cowboys have to win out. Cowboys have to win out.
Bandwagon Baba, we see you. Okay, hopefully everybody. We got some feedback in the chat saying our mics need to be turned up. I think that's for Alex and I made the adjustment. Bandwagon Baba.
Do I have to hold it like this? Does that sound better?
No, you're booshin'.
Okay.
Bandwagon Baba's saying she also does not like Anth on the right. And guess what?
Oh, okay.
That's just I also agree. I don't know why he's on the right. And I think it's because that's where we had Bryson the last time for last week. So I kept the same schema going on there. But hey, Bandwagon Baba, if we wanted to take every consensus from chat, oh my goodness. And just like the NWO, you both pull out a Cowboys Can Fan shirt. Man,
look at this. It looks like I'm wearing shoulder pads.
It looks like you're putting your head on a body.
And Ad, you also have a Can Fan shirt.
Yeah, I as you were working there, AJ, I was pimping the Texas Coast Offense shirt.
Well, what do we got going on the show tonight, fellas?
Well,
What do
hey.
we got? Now that I can ask AJ and he's back in the zone, what do we have popping?
Well, first of all, real quick, if you like any shirts or you just want to see what else we got, head over to cowboyscanfan.com/store. There's some shirts there. They're not flying off the shelves, but they're on the shelves. So,
Why aren't they flying off the shelves? Because they're digital. That's why they're not flying.
because they're digital. But now we've got a couple in-house. We've tested the prints. The customer service is great. So, and that's us. So
Get them while they're hot.
But hey, let's look at what we're doing on today's show. So last week we roasted 2 birds in a row. The Dallas Cowboys roasted the Seahawks and then went into the Eagles, and that meat's much more tastier, much more sweeter.
Illegal
Bird
though.
hunting.
I actually read up on it. It is illegal. I knew it was illegal in the States to kill an eagle and eat it. Definitely still illegal in Canada. You can't hunt a bald eagle in Canada.
But we were
I never knew.
bird hunting. We were bird hunting the last 2 weeks.
Do you think Jerry Jones cares? He'll fly wherever it is legal,
and he'll salt it up.
and he will add extra salt.
What do you think an eagle would taste like? What do you think a bald eagle? Do you think it would taste good?
Probably like a turkey.
Too muscly.
A turkey,
Too muscly.
maybe?
I think it would be too muscly.
But
a
boys,
turkey's just like fat and juicy.
Yeah, yeah,
Possibly.
too much muscle. But who knows? Maybe that means more protein. I don't know. But hey, that was a very comfortable win we had against, which was previously the unanimously crowned NFC, at least the NFC Beast champs, maybe even the NFC champs. But now things have definitely changed, and the Cowboys have put themselves into contention for that first in division finish. All right, we also had Dak Prescott making waves.
Here we go.
MVP waves. Here we go. But he's not the only one in Cowboys Nation. Hint, the other dude who's making waves is not European, as we found out last post-game show.
I think you're the only person that thought he was European.
Well,
Brock Purdy, is that who he's
it's
talking
just a little hint.
No, Alex thought.
Well, don't
thought
say-
that-
don't-
Okay. No,
It was automatic.
No,
Aubrey.
no,
Look,
no.
he played soccer, and so I just I linked him to Europe. But anyways, also now we come to the Cowboys and Bills. The Cowboys, they can't really take things easy this week. The Bills are inviting them over to Highmark Stadium for a mid-game kickoff, which I kind of like. And our show will be kicking off 1 hour before, so make sure you come check us out on the old YouTube or TikTok too, perhaps. Or is it just YouTube that we're streaming on? Check it out at Cowboys Can Fan wherever you want. And make sure that you drop a score prediction in the chat because you can win some Can Fan merch if you get it right. Then we will see where the NFL.com leads the boys on that power rankings chart. I believe we've moved from 5th to 4th. So now are we in that top 3? I think so. And plus we'll do some score and bold predictions for the upcoming game, make some Can Fan buck bets, and talk some Can Fantasy Football playoffs. All this and a bunch
Here we
of crackums.
go.
Here we go.
Boosh, baby.
Okay.
All right. Well, I want to lead out with as far as the Eagles game. The Eagles.
Oh, you got frozen
You
up.
got frozen there, you little dupe. And you look like, keep talking though. You look hilarious.
Yeah. I kind of threw me off guard. I seen you guys laughing. I was like, what the fuck are they laughing about? And then I look over and I just look like I'm stroking out on the screen. No, the Eagles Cowboys game. Again, I'm still riding that mile high feeling on it. It put us back in, and it actually, AJ had said the division puts us in contention for the division win, but it also puts us in contention for the conference win. We're actually, depending on what San Fran does, San Fran has a couple sneaky games coming up, a couple divisional matchups coming up. There is a chance that the Cowboys still end up with the first overall seed.
So that win against the Eagles was a very, very important one. It totally, because if they lost, then we're fighting for 5th.
Ooh.
At best.
We lost, Anth.
And if we actually, if the
He's back.
he's back. If the tables go as how we want them to be turned, and Cowboys end up winning out for the rest of the season, which I think Cowboys have a bit of a harder last 4 games of the season here.
Hey, dude, Lions lost to the Bears, and the Dolphins lost to
the Titans.
Tennessee.
Oh,
There's
look,
zero chance
That banana peel eating Will Levis.
hey,
Eagles and Tommy Cutlets or whatever the fuck you guys want to call him. This dude, they're on a 3-game win streak. So I know it looks like on paper and records that the Cowboys have a tougher one, but that might not be the case.
well, I mean, certainly the Eagles have a easier 2 games with New York Giants.
Yeah. Oh, well, do they? We don't know. This is a new team with a new quarterback. That's what I'm saying. Tommy DeVito, they've won 3 of their last games. The only game he lost was to the Cowboys. So I don't think it's a layup. They beat the Green Bay Packers, who are a team that's in the battle for the postseason. So on paper, it might look easy, but football is a game of these weird momentum shifts, and the Dolphins are trending down. The Lions are trending down. Well, fuck the Eagles. We're not playing them. But for the Eagles, the Giants are trending up. So, and Arizona's trending up. So 3 games that looked easy a month ago could be battles for the Eagles.
And Arizona has one of the Eagles coordinators on their bench. Their old defensive coordinator is on the Eagles as a coach, as on the coaching team. So that was that's one of the things that in terms of Arizona coming against the the Cowboys, you have somebody that's very familiar with the Cowboys game coming in and playing with you. Now you have somebody who's familiar with the team. And like, let's be honest, the offense and the defense, they're not hiding much on the Eagles. So they're not being creative, and they're struggling, and people are starting to really expose how to beat Jalen Hurts. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Eagles for the rest of the season. And like you were saying, the rest of even though we do have some tougher teams ahead of us, as of late, they haven't looked like they had the first half of their season.
What do you guys think we go finish the next 4 games record wise?
3-1. I that's what I'm thinking. I'm just throwing in a sneaky loss.
So so out of the teams that we face, we have Buffalo,
Win.
Miami,
Win.
Lions.
Loss.
You think we're losing to the Lions?
And then I think we're going to win against I said that at the start of the season, that I think Detroit's going to, I think for some reason we're just going to, actually, sorry, is Detroit home or away?
They are away. They're the only, so out of those 4 games that we play, our only home game is against Detroit.
Oh, okay. Well, that changes my.
So it's away in Buffalo, away in Miami, home at AT&T, and then away at FedEx or whatever the hell Washington Commanders shithole of a stadium is called.
Yeah, right.
I might have to be swayed to 4-0 as well. Well, chat, what do you think? Drop your next 4 game score win-loss predictions in the chat as we kind of go through our rapid recap.
But yeah, I think, look, we can talk about what the Eagles are going to be doing in the next 4 games. We can talk about what we're going to be doing in the next 4 games. But the reality is, and we are going to be talking about the Bills in just a second here. Couple minutes, 15 minutes, something like that. But Dak, MVP, I mean, is this conversation now just beating a dead horse? It's his to lose at this point, and he's not really doing anything wildly in terms of putting up big numbers. He's just playing consistent, good, huck'em chuck'em football.
Which is crazy because in the other seasons, if you put his stats up against some of the past MVPs seasons, like Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers in the last few years, his numbers aren't as good as those guys during their MVP seasons. I'm not trying to discredit Dak at all, but there just hasn't been anyone else at the quarterback position to really stand out. And Dak's on a tear right now. He has 23 touchdowns to 2 interceptions in the last 6 or 7 games, whatever it was. If he was on that pace right from the start of the season, without no doubt, no brainer, he's the MVP. It's really depending on what he does in the next 4 games. Tyreek Hill was a sneaky pick at MVP on the pace he was having, but he just got hurt on Monday night. Yep. So he might miss a game or 2. So like AJ just said, it's Dak Prescott's to lose. And it's because he's the most consistent football player right now. And he's the one quarterback that's elevating everyone else around him.
There's a lot of chatter around Purdy's in conversation with Dak. Do you think we talked about it a couple weeks ago that, Dak is one of the people that elevates the team around him, like you just said, and Purdy's working on a team of just studs, and he's not elevating any of them.
Purdy just doesn't, I mean, he makes the throws he has to, but I guess it's close. That's the other guy. Jalen Hurts was in that talk. He's not in that talk in my mind anymore. It was kind of a 3-horse race with Tyreek Hill, Brock Purdy, and Dak Prescott, and I still think Dak's a little bit ahead of those guys.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Brock Purdy is worthy of the conversation. I'll say that.
Definitely. Definitely.
But again, it really depends on how the NFL ranks most valuable player. I think, I do believe stats come into play in terms of opening the door to the conversation, but I think that's just kind of part and parcel. Obviously, if you're playing at an MVP level, you're going to be putting up very good stats. But yeah, when you compare Purdy and Dak, they are very similar. So what does it come down to then? Well, it comes down to removing or swapping out that quarterback for a more average NFL quarterback, which I think people believe Purdy is, and that Dak Prescott is just a better overall quarterback if you're looking at just pure quarterback athleticism or whatever his Madden stats might be. So I think that's like kind of the biggest difference maker. Obviously, I'm a homer, so I want to see Dak take that home. I think that'd be awesome for him, but that's not his goal. His goal is to take us to the Super Bowl. And same with Purdy. I don't think he's thinking about it. He's playing some really amazing football. He's got a great arsenal of weapons around him that definitely edge out the Cowboys' weapons. But I don't know that that's necessarily a fair thing to put on or to take away from someone. So it's really close. And personally, if it's going to keep Dak motivated to keep playing the way he is, then let's keep that kind of competitive conversation going.
Yeah. Well, I got some Cowboys trivia for you guys, and don't look at chat ad. How many other people have won the MVP of the NFL for the Dallas Cowboys? How many times do you think it's happened?
Probably, shit, man. Troy Aikman's got to have it once.
I think twice.
Maybe.
3 times. 3 times.
And then there's probably a defender or someone back
Emmitt
in the
Smith.
day. I'm going to say 4.
Emmitt Smith, Staubach, and Troy Aikman.
It's happened one time.
Oh, shit.
Only one person, and it wasn't a quarterback. So there's never been a Dallas Cowboys quarterback to
Drew
win
Pearson?
MVP of the NFL. No, you said it, or the
Emmitt
only
Smith.
person that's Emmitt Smith.
Oh, wow.
He's the only Dallas Cowboy to ever win the MVP, and he won it in 1993. So I know it's like, it's one of those things. I don't give a fuck about the MVP if we don't win the Super Bowl, really, but it does cement you as a legit person. Like, if you win the MVP, you can never be said that you aren't a top X amount at your position, right? Ever again. It just can't happen. So it would be nice to see Dak get it, but it would be nice I'd rather him not win it and then win the Super Bowl MVP.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, that's what Gus said in here. Goes, or was it Gus? Yeah, Gus. I want Dak for Super Bowl MVP.
Super Bowl MVP over anything.
Yeah, a lot of chats agreeing with what you guys were saying about Purdy versus Dak in terms of Dak elevating everyone around him and bringing out big plays from like Gallup or Fergie, whereas there's just good players around Purdy. Nobody in
Purdy
chat.
still has to make the throw. He still has to make the throws.
Yeah, and he's making him well. Like, I think it's a fair conversation to have. I don't think that's like out of pocket.
It depends what happens in these last 4 games too, right?
Yeah.
That's really going to be like, if Dak goes and throws in the next 4 games, 4 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, well, then by the end of the season, we're not even be talking about him being the MVP. If Brock Purdy keeps on his trajectory.
Well, the reality of this,
and the same thing could happen with Brock Purdy.
Well, Forever DC saying, I can't see how Purdy could be MVP because when San Francisco had Williams, Debo, and MCM out, he couldn't put the team on his back and he lost 3 games. So when those 3 players are out, they went like after Dallas, they went 0-3.
But at the same time, if CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson, and I don't know, Tyler Smith were out or Zach Martin were out, I mean, I think Dak could.
There you go. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Hey, exactly, bro.
You got me.
The only other person who I think, and I haven't really even heard their name be considered, but it would be CMC. I think he has a legitimate. Now he would have to ball out with rushing yards to get over 1,500 by the end of the year, but then he's also got 437 yards receiving. So let's say he gets another. Is it out of pocket? Is it out of control to say maybe he gets another 800 yards on the season if he finishes off these last 4 games really strong? Okay, that puts him into like 2,300 yards from scrimmage territory. Is that enough to really?
It's tough because he's kind of had a season like that in 2019 with Carolina. He had like 1,400 yards rushing, 15 touchdowns, and then 1,000 yards receiving with 4 touchdowns. And he was in conversation, but it's just, especially with how the running back's going, it's hard for them to give it to a running back. I think the last running back that had it was Adrian Peterson when he had 2,000 yards. For running backs and receivers, it's like you almost have to either break a record or come extremely close to breaking that record.
With a lot of touchdowns.
Like Christian McCaffrey, without a doubt, the guy should be in conversation. It's just how shitty the position's gotten in the eyes of everyone else. Like, everyone's like, oh, it's a running back. Like, we're not going to give it MVP. But yeah. McCaffrey, to me, is the MVP of that offense over Brock Purdy.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of getting at. Can you find another CMC on the Cowboys?
No.
No.
Like, is there another player who you would go to? I mean, look, Deron Bland maybe getting another 1 or 2 pick sixes. Now we got it. Now things get
I like that.
interesting. I still don't think
Yep.
I still don't think it's enough, but that would be like that's such an insane amount.
It would have
pick
to.
sixes.
We would have to have seen him got a pick 6 in this last game, in some of these bigger games, or even in some of these bigger games coming up. Like, I think
that's what AJ's saying. If
I
he
know.
gets,
No,
like,
I know.
If he gets 2 more pick sixes,
I know,
then
yeah.
he's got to be in at least conversation.
Yeah.
Unless it's 2 pick sixes in the Week 18 game against the Commanders, like then I could see them but still. Otherwise, I don't think there's anyone. Even CD Lamb, he's an amazing number 1. He's really put that 88 up on his chest and is wearing it proudly.
Yep.
But I still don't think that he is certainly a game changer. So I don't want to take that away from him. And I'm actually going to kind of backpedal because I do think like he is a very necessary part of the offense, but for whatever reason, it doesn't stand out like a Tyreek Hill.
Oh, what Tyreek Hill was doing, man. With like just his explosion, and he was on pace to break 2,000 yards. And that's what I was thinking. This was, I don't know if I said it on air, or if we were just joking about it pre-game at some point. And I was like, of course, the year that Dak Prescott's in contention of being an MVP, a wide receiver is going to break 2,000 yards and end up setting the record for everything yard-wise as a receiver and win the MVP. But because he got hurt, I think it's forced Dak into the lead position to win that.
Yeah. Well, sorry, Hill's at 1,500 yards now, so he's still on pace if he to get 2,000. Not on pace, sorry, but he's still in that.
Oh yeah, I mean, if he has, depending how many games he misses though.
Before
he fucked his ankle up pretty good on Monday night.
Yeah. Do you think he's gonna? I haven't looked to see if because he's one of my receivers in a league. Bocce says, let's get all, and he's talking about Dak. Let's get him all of it. MVP, Super Bowl MVP, Baby Daddy of the Year, Sexiest Man Alive, Kraken Player of the Year.
Kraken Player of the Year, yeah.
Yeah, Kraken Player of the Year. We'll do that for sure this year.
Which we didn't do last week. Maybe we should.
I thought we said Aubrey.
Oh, yeah,
Aubrey was Kraken Player of the Game.
Okay.
Llama Gamer says, where's man? We got a lot of chat going on here. Llama Gamer said, did y'all see Cam Newton's comments on Dak, Tua, and Purdy? Do you guys know what I'm talking?
No.
So yes, system quarterbacks. They just manage the game. Correct him if you got him. No. No. He looked like a villain in a Christmas movie.
So someone tell me why game manager is a negative for a quarterback. But like the way that he's meaning, I know it shouldn't be, but the way that he's meaning is like, so it's like, okay, so what should he be then? So the only quarterback that stands out is someone who can run as well. Yeah. Yeah, look, I would love a more video game-esque style. And by that, I mean how we play, where it's like fucking 1st and 10, throw 30 yards and like just air the ball out, big pick plays, big catches, big touchdown, big runs. But that's just not how you win games. I mean, sure, those moments happen, and we can see teams. The Cowboys have done that as well to teams over the last over our 2.5, nearly 3-year stint here on CanFan. But I also really love a methodical approach and just saying, okay, if your defense is going to play this, then we're going to do this. And you just play that if this, then that throughout the whole game. I don't mind those little dink and dunks when they're contributing to first downs. That's exciting defense draining football. And if that's what game management is, like throwing to, like, instead of making a big, throwing a ball into a more risky area to try to make that big play, It just like that's exciting too. But I think that like there's to see the Cowboys bleed the clock, take the soul out of the defense. That's also really exciting for a Satanist like me.
Well, who the fuck is Cam Newton anyways to be talking shit about anyone? The dude threw for over 30 touchdowns once in his career. Dak's this year, Dak's going to hit it for his third time.
Cam Newton will always be Michael Vick light.
Yeah, he was a running guy. He was a running quarterback. Like he had one good season, Cam Newton, really, as a quarterback where he was throwing the ball as good as he was running it. But this is the issue. I get it. He's an ex-athlete. He has an MVP caliber season. But why do we give a fuck what he's saying about any quarterback in the NFL, really? He's just trying to make splashes and get headlines, and it worked. Because it's jumped into my feed a few times this week, and I just laugh how stupid he looks every time.
I haven't seen the clips. So I have to go look for it now. But we have this. There's two ways that NFL players come in. They either have a really good mind on them and they offer something exceptional, kind of like the Mannings. The Mannings come in and they offer like a really the Mannings offer a really exceptional perspective into football. A lot of the commentaries, Tony Romo does as well. And then there's guys like McAfee, however you want to say his name. And he brings a really good entertainment vibe and a unique show, right? And still a very good perspective because he's played the game, so he gets that respect. And then there's guys like Cam Newton and who's that Eagles running back?
Shady McCoy.
Shady McCoy. They may or may not have good minds, but they've chosen to play the villain. And they've chosen to say, okay, well, I'm going to go in because I've played, so I have credence in what I say, and I'm going to go in and basically say all the things to get people riled up and get the clicks and the views. And they're happy they're happy enough to play that position. And so I'm just saying, like, those guys, they've picked the part. And that's what they're doing. I don't really take either of them seriously when they say things about that don't make sense about NFL players. When they're just saying something that's like, gonna get a good reel, because that's what they're looking for, and that's what those guys have decided to do. So more power to them. But
it's working.
It's working, but it doesn't make me watch your content like I would. Like the formers who I mentioned, the Mannings.
Definitely.
And McAfee. I
agree.
Right?
I don't know
And I also think that's why McAfee gets certain guests on, because he doesn't play that game. He might favorite him, like Aaron Rodgers, for example. He definitely is always going to be patting Aaron Rodgers there. That fucking goofball.
Well, the chat's
I do like his wild. Hey, I do like his wild style.
Well,
but
chat was
he looks like a fucking band
little drummer boy.
Ryan Flowers from Clutch Sports Talk saying Cam had Steven Smith and Greg Olsen and CMC, and they had a good defense with Davis and Luke Ketchley. So
oh yeah,
you can't what you got weapons around you as much as that Neanderthal Greg Olsen, but you had Steve Smith and frickin' CMC.
Well, no, that Panthers team actually was really fun. Think about that. Think about how much they didn't do and all the talent they had on that fucking team.
Well, they did. They had a good run, made the Super Bowl, and then got blasted by the Denver Broncos. But they they were fun to watch. When Cam Newton was running, it was exciting. It was exciting to watch him. But again,
that's where he should have stayed.
I'm not going to take Cam Newton's opinion. He, like they said in the chat, he's just salty as fuck that guys like Joe Flacco are getting picked up while he's sitting there hoping that somebody calls.
Yep. But hey, look, we can beat Dak's big MVP trophy off all day, okay? But there's also another kid we need to talk about. Now, I made that mistake, as hinted earlier in the show, that I thought he was from Europe. But he just played soccer. But I'm talking, of course, about automatic Aubrey breaking records. Actually, not. Is it breaking records when you just continue to extend the record? I mean, technically, yes, but
yeah, you break it every time he hits a new one.
I put
because if he misses one,
that's the record.
The record's set, right?
I said
if he hits it, he broke it again.
I like that he's extending it too, though. Like he's just keeping it going.
I said
like bonus points.
automatic Aubrey keeps kicking through records. See what I did
There you go.
There we
My
go.
favorite thing is we posted a video. Check it out at Cowboys Can Fan on every social media platform. We did one. We edited a video of us being excited when he hit the 60-yarder. And my favorite comment is people, oh yeah, typical Cowboys fans happy that their kicker made a kick. It's like,
You idiot.
I think that's hilarious. I think it's funny. Yeah, we're jacked the fuck up. We're hype all the time.
Okay, the reason that we were so jacked is we were like, okay, 7-0, we're gonna come on and punt, and we're trying to calculate like, okay, if they stop me here, then it's gonna be 7-3. Like, we're trying to and then lo and behold, Big Mike, my appendix is now no part of my body. McCarthy decides to say
He's a robot.
he decides to say, no, put the boy out there. I want to see him squirm. And Aubrey, man, he came out and this was a 60-yard field goal, and he made 2 big ones. The other one was 59 yards, I believe.
Yeah.
And both of them could have gone 70 yards. The kid's got a boot. How do you feel
Crack him
when
if
that?
you got
I
him.
mean, crack him if you got
Crack him if you got
him.
him.
I love the clip, and you got to go check it out at Cowboys Can.
Oh, it's
Fan.
hilarious.
I
We're
love-
having a blast. Why wouldn't you be excited for that? What are we? Oh yeah, he made another kick. It's like,
It's
did
the
you
raw
guys not
motion.
see? Did you not see our kickers the last 3 seasons? I used to have to sit on the edge of my seat at a point after. Of course, I'm happy when our kicker comes out and drills a 60-yarder. The funniest thing prior to that clip, and the reason we get so excited is you're right. We were talking about something completely opposite. We're like, oh yeah, they're gonna punt, and then we got kind of off track talking about something because we thought it was just a punt, and then it cuts to Aubrey lining up to take the kick, and yeah, we're 24/7 hype train.
All day,
Yeah.
every day, baby.
And it was the momentum keeping. It was a momentum keeping kick. Had they missed it, that means where would it be?
They're on the 45,
Yeah,
right? Like, and 10-0 against your divisional foe, the top team in the NFL in the first quarter. Effing rights, I'm jacked up.
And I was still at that point in time too. I was still nervous. Like I was like, 10-0 against the Eagles ain't a thing. They where I'm more worried about. I was like, we need to pack up the points now in the first, because that's when they're going to start turning it on in the second. And then lo and behold, we're up by 6 and they have a 2-minute drive. And what do the Eagles come down and do? Like that was the fear. But
Yep.
I mean, Aubrey breaking these records, keeping us calm. I mean, was there a snare of doubt when he lined up for 60 yards? Absolutely. But I was saying, you know what? I like it. I like the gusto. I don't like where they will be if they miss, but you could hear the excitement in our voices when that kick went through, and just the passion that we have for this man, Automatic Aubrey, breaking records, 30 for 30 to start his career. What's the over under on this?
Like of what he's going to get to
Yeah.
before he misses,
Before he
or
misses.
maybe he doesn't miss.
Maybe he doesn't miss.
Maybe finishes
Hey.
the season.
I'll take a miss in these next 4 games so he doesn't miss in playoffs though.
Playoffs, I completely agree. I'd rather miss one in the next 4 games and hit a game winner in the wild card or divisional round or NFC championship game.
Sorry, before,
100%.
And before you give your answers to that question that I just asked, this is the other thing is it was a really good test, because that was a big pressure game. It was a big pressure moment, and he came in and nailed it, and he did it. The first one was a little bit more pressure than the second, but the distances were essentially the same.
Well, even his third one was 50. He
Sure.
hit a 60, 59, and 50.
Sure,
that's
sure.
that's wild.
And add those all up, that's like more yards than I think the Eagles had passing. But still, like that's a kind of test to put him out and say, okay, if you can hit the ball in this game at home, big game against the Eagles, just to put us up by 10, that's a good test to see. Are your nerves going to be fine when you have to do that same thing in a playoff game
Playoffs.
in the opposing team's arena? So confidence should be up for him and for us as well. And just
We bleed blue and silver around here, man.
you know how it is.
It's like you asked the question and then you just answered it yourself, which is I'm
I
perfectly
didn't.
fine. I'm
I
perfectly fine.
I asked the question and then I went
But-
off on a different answer. But
But your answer is very close to what we're gonna say. It's Automatic Aubrey. He's not gonna miss this year.
I know.
He's going to go an entire season without missing.
So let's say
I was trying to think. I was like, what? I was like, what? I was trying to think when Ad said that you asked a question. I was like, what?
I'd say this.
What was
38.
I think he said, what was the over-under? And then he went off.
This
into
is
what he
the
wanted to-
over-under is 38.5 field goals made in a row.
So that just under three,
It's like
just
two,
under
two more.
2.5 a day or 2.5 a game, almost.
Yeah. Oh wait, maybe.
And are we saying he's finishing with or consecutively?
This is like consecutive field goal.
Okay, you're saying
I think he can
consecutive?
make two. I think he could make two more a game.
I'm going fucking over. I'm going over.
Okay, because two more a game would bring him to 38.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm going over. I'm going
Okay.
over 38.
I think that's fair. Excellent.
Alert
Chat,
the-
what do you think?
Well, chat's saying what's more impressive. Well, so before that, alert the Canadian mountains. The big fella's on his way to Canada. Says Dallas Cowboys. Chris,
Is he? He is coming.
That's yes, yeah.
Dallas
Sick.
Cowboys, Chris. We have alerted the Royal Canadian Mounties. They will be escorting you out of the airport once you arrive. Just kidding. It'll just be. I don't know who are we.
I'll pick him up on Saturday if he come. If I think he's well, Chris has said he's coming up on a Saturday, so I don't know any other plans. But I'll pick him up on Saturday, and we'll see how it goes. But he's in the studio Sunday, and he's going to be in my he's going to be in my house until he decides to leave.
That's
So,
awesome.
I'm
so pumped up for that.
Fucking A.
The only other thing besides the Dallas Cowboys, Chris giving an alert that he's coming all the way from Arlington to Canada to be in the studio, literally for no other reason but to be on the show. That's what's so gangster about it.
That's awesome.
It's not like he's coming out and visiting relatives or anything like that. He's not coming out to watch the Canucks. He's not coming out to watch the BC Lions. He's coming out to be in Can Fan Studio to rock it with us on the Bills versus Cowboys game Sunday. We might even have to do a Saturday night show. I don't know. We'll see how
We
crazy
might have
get.
to do a Saturday show.
Or we'll just have to go 2 hours ahead of the show.
Yep, whatever it is.
And then now I have to do another break before we go
we
on
get to do a nice lunch too.
We'll do a nice lunch. Yeah. Hey, you're right. Hey, we could go for some lunch and then or a brunch.
A brunch,
Town
or I'm
hall
saying,
hall
yeah,
order
we could
stuff,
go-
or we can go somewhere. Yeah.
Bocce Eric with that $10 super chat. Shout out to all
Hey-o.
the Can Fan Maniacs. This chat is absolutely fire. I'm reading better takes and insight on Cowboys football than anywhere else. 12.5 subscribers and growing.
Boots on the ground.
He says he said earlier on he's not yelling. He's just putting in a caps lock so that Anth can read
I love it.
And
That's
hey,
hilarious.
he is vying for that end of year caps lock champion.
And then Boots says that Cowboys Chris is visiting fam. The Can fam. He didn't say the
there
Can
it
fam
is.
part. I did.
I love it. I love it. Oh, I'm back. I
Okay, you're
disappeared
back.
there for a second.
So
Sometimes you just get taken away in that AT&T ether.
yeah, I'll get okay. So here's another comment. Just here's some chat stuff. Chat's on.
Yeah.
Chat is
Yeah,
on
get
fire.
us some
Let's
chat stuff going here.
Hey,
You
look.
know,
if
get us the gold because we are after this we'll go on to power rankings. So let's hit up chat.
Okay, so everyone wants to know what Hankins' status is. It sounds like he's gonna be out for a week. I said we'll talk about it in the Bills preview. So let's make sure we bring up Hankins in the situation that we're gonna be in without Hankins. EJ Savage asks, more impressive streak? Question mark. Aubrey 30 for 30 field goals or Dallas 15 straight home victories?
Wow.
Ooh, that's a banger of a question.
In a vacuum, you'd say 15 straight home games, but it's the distances that, and I'm just thinking about last game, but still, it's the distances that Aubrey has made that makes it a little bit more questioning. I'm still going to lead towards 15 wins at home because that's a difficult feat. That stretches multiple seasons.
I would have to look into it to see what's been done more. Obviously, this is uncharted territory, the amount he's made to start a season.
Yeah.
But I'd also like to see how many kickers have went 30 in a row at any time of their career.
Yeah.
And then I'd like to see how many teams have won X amount of games at home in a row. But having a home field advantage like the Cowboys have, that to me, it's more impressive because it's a team stat opposed to a single person stat. So I'm going to side a little bit with the 15 home games.
I got that answer for you. It was Vinatieri set the record for most consecutive field goals between 2015 and 2016. So it did encompass 2 seasons, and he probably started it halfway or someplace through the 2015 season. When he played for the Colts, in 2 seasons with the Colts, Vinatieri made 44 straight field goals.
Wow.
Bocce
So
So
said,
that's not to
that's
start
impressive.
his career. He was already.
No, that was just at a time.
That was just at a time, and it wasn't. I think the two things that are unique is starting the career, and then also from the beginning of the season
right.
on.
Boots says, I think the record at home is more difficult because that involves the whole team, and Aubrey is just himself.
Truth.
I agree with that.
They are two kind of difficult things to compare because of that.
Yep.
That's why it's a great question.
It's a great question.
It's a great question and a great comparison.
EJ
I love both.
EJ Savage, Boys in the Zone, says Aubrey is 8 for 8 from 50 plus too.
Ooh, that's juicy.
That change.
That's statalicious. Crack 'em if you got 'em.
Crack him if you got him, son.
That's just under 30%.
Yep. Forever DC brings up a good point. We're going to find that out in Buffalo, even though it looks like the weather so far is looking on our side. Curious if he learned how to kick in the cold and the wind that's with him. He will break all sorts of records. Swirling wind or crosswinds or in your face wind is different.
Yeah, that's a problem. But you know what? I would hope that you would take that into account for a big 60-yard kick. Like if the crosswinds there. Well, no bueno, we ain't gonna do it.
Well, Michael Clark says
you're not kicking 60.
Well, Michael Clark then claps back and says he actually played in Toronto in the USFL.
Oh,
so that's Toronto,
like
Buffalo, same, basically same
Canadian
thing.
boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's kicking a ball, not a soccer ball, not a football.
USFL.
Yeah, but
sorry.
in the USFL.
Hey, USFL idiot.
But I don't know.
They play in the summer though,
and I don't know that they have an outdoor.
Toronto's outdoor, I think.
Okay.
Well, either way, they play in the summertime.
You see how I said that with confidence? I have no clue. It has to be.
Well, I was just thinking of like the stadiums in Toronto. But I'm like, they're not playing in one of the major stadiums. They're playing in like college.
Oh yeah, they're playing in like a freaking EJ.
Oh, we got this plot of land over here.
Come over here. No USFL here, boys.
We'll paint some
up
lines
here in
on
Canada.
That tree can be an upright.
Hey there, buds. You want to go kick that? You want to go kick your tarps off? There you go, buds.
It's on the side of Highway 1 somewhere.
It's just a fucking high school field. EJ Savage, Both in Zone says Dak has a chance to check off one of two teams he's never beaten this Sunday.
I wonder who the other one is. EJ, who's the other one? Bills and...
Well, Dak's never beat the Bills.
Has he beat?
I would say...
Washington.
Then has he never beat Miami?
He's beat Miami.
Has he beat
Detroit?
Detroit?
Who?
Detroit?
Detroit. Yeah, he's beat Detroit.
Well, then he's never beat... Broncos. EJ Savage of Boys in the Zone says Broncos.
Yeah, the Cowboys haven't beat the Broncos since...
No, Dak. Dak hasn't beat
the Cowboys, though, haven't beat the Broncos since Homer Simpson got awarded the Broncos instead of the Cowboys in 1997, 1996.
Jeepers.
Bills and Broncos, yeah. That's the only team.
Oh. Gus says, no matter how cold it is in Buffalo on Sunday, I need shirtless Ant on Sunday night.
Oh, yeah, we're getting it. After that W, you know I'm coming. And nipples out.
Do you think we're going to be able to get Big Chris to go shirtless and do a dual video with shirtless Ants? We'll see.
I mean,
tune into a post game on Sunday.
If that's the case, Chris, if we try to force Chris to do that, he might be getting an Uber out to the airport and just be leaving right away.
Force him to do it. Okay, do we want to hit some power ranks here, Bryce?
Yeah, so
I'm going first. I'm picking first because
okay.
You guys won last week.
I know what it is because someone in chat ruined it for me, so I have to remove myself from this.
It's two. They're two.
You think they're number two? Okay, so I'm going to go to their NFL Power Rankings, Week 15 by Eric Edholm. Let's see how he does with the title. Oh, Cowboys crack top 3. But you're right. I think 2 is the right way to go, Anth, because it's too obvious to go 3. Broncos reach new heights for 2023 season. And I hate the Broncos.
Are we going to get this up on the screen here or what?
Oh, sorry, bro.
Okay. You think this is?
So Anth goes 2.
I thought you were in studio or looking at the screen, but I guess I was wrong.
I'm just going to go 3. Because
Ad can't go because Ad knows.
Yeah. Because Ad knows.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not a cheater. It just happened. Someone in chat came in and said, "Hey, I'm sorry I'm late. Glad the Cowboys are." And then they said, and I was like, "Fuck, no."
You trying to cheat my boys?
Trying to cheat my boys.
Okay, so let's have a look ski.
Fuck at home.
Number 1, San Francisco 49ers.
Duh.
No, makes sense.
Duh.
Number 2, Baltimore Ravens. Oh, that means sweet Daddy AJ. Call me Daddy AJ.
Watch this, and I'm gone.
He's gone. He's gone.
Do you want to read it or me?
I'll read it.
Okay.
That's what 3.
The Cowboys are at number 3.
Okay.
And it's 1503 Jones Martinez says, "Hey guys, late, but I'm here. Crack 'em."
Heyo.
Crack 'em.
So Dallas Cowboys 10-3, and they have an up one. Like they just won. They lost the game beforehand, which they didn't.
No.
What do you mean?
They're
Moving up one
they're
spot.
moving
Hey,
up
guess
from
what,
fourth.
guys? Brain fart.
You see that green arrow pointing up? That means they went up one.
For a guy who was on the operating table a few days ago, Mike McCarthy looked pretty healthy, looping over to call timeout prior to the touchdown that gave Dallas a 24-6 halftime lead over rival Philadelphia. McCarthy called all the right shots in the opening half Sunday night, converting a 60-yard field goal in the first quarter and successfully pulling off the rare Whataburger order and a TD notching challenge at the goal line in the second quarter. Things simmered down after that, but in the end, the Cowboys sent a big message that they are indeed serious contenders for both the NFC East crown and the number 1 overall seed in the NFC playoffs. This was the quality victory that Dallas needed, but the next two are at Buffalo and at Miami, or as some would say, Miami. So the work isn't over yet, or the work isn't yet done, especially with the Eagles' remaining schedule a lot more favorable.
Like AJ was saying, the Eagles on paper have a more favorable match ups the next few weeks. Seattle, if Seattle plays like they played against us, on that Thursday, they are better than the Eagles.
Yep.
If Geno Smith is back and he's throwing it to DK Metcalf, slinging it to JSN, and their defense shows up better than they did against the Cowboys, we have not been impressed by the Eagles at all this whole season. We've been like watching them squeak these games out every single week. If the Seahawks can play how they played Thursday night against the Cowboys, they will beat the Eagles.
Well, and the Seahawks, when they first started playing against the 49ers, I was like, oh shit, like look at the Seahawks. They are actually balling out and they're doing they were doing decent for the first 2 quarters, I would say, and then they started to get trampled by San Francisco.
It was 28-16 when this 28-16 final when the Seahawks and Niners played. That was with their backup quarterback.
I know.
If Geno Smith is in against the Eagles, I think they'll take him at home.
Yeah, the recipe for how to beat these teams, especially now, and when I say these teams, I mean every team in the NFL. Like, it's all on the table. Every way to beat a team, if it hasn't been discovered yet, they can go back to footage and figure that out. And if the Seahawks are moving the ball like they did, they're going to outscore the Eagles in their game.
Definitely.
I did not see, like, it seemed very obviously that the Cowboys figured out how to stop them from doing those big plays that the Eagles need to get 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, so they can push and wreck morale on the defense. It just did not happen. Cowboys played very well. But it didn't really seem like Cowboys did anything exceptional, not taking anything away from that win. Like Micah didn't go out and have 4 sacks or something like that, right? But it was just some very competitive, smart defensive football stopped them from getting to the place where they feel comfortable, and then they couldn't do shit and they had to punt to us. And guess what? Then Dak Prescott, Dak MVP, DAK MVP came in and said, okay, well, then let me game manage this game. All right? Does everyone calm down?
The game master.
Hey, easy, Cam Newton. Easy, Cam Newton.
Yeah, we heard you. I like Cam Newton's style.
Okay, but let's just round out this top 10 here. So right below, we got the Eags.
Boo.
Then the Dolphins who is on our list to play. Then the Kansas City Chiefs, who they are being way too favorable, but I guess
should have dropped at least one. They should have dropped at least a spot.
They should have. Then the Detroit Lions,
another team that we got to face.
Yep. Cleveland Browns at 8.
Bills are going to be next.
Jacksonville Jaguars at 9. Bills at 10. So the next three games, yeah. Well, then 3 of our 4 games are in against the. Sorry, I'm going wild on this.
I was kind of saying it's like
I
this
thought
nice,
when I was moving, I was like,
it's like this nice floating thing. I was like, whoa, dude!
It's like a screensaver.
I don't know. I don't know.
Because if I try to scroll, sometimes it just like locks up. So I gotta.
That's its thing.
Look, that's the fun that you get when you come and visually watch this show. Monday night main event every Wednesday at 6 p.m. PST, 8 p.m. CST, 9 p.m. EST. And we are here. We are nude. If you're just listening to this, you're only getting half that action. But okay, hey,
Well,
Who did you say, Anth, that you want, or was it Buffalo?
I was just saying that
softest
the
hand.
next three teams that we play are all top teners. Ed home top teners though. So I don't know if that. I don't know.
I don't know. Sorry, we're just feeling each other calluses. I grabbed his hand. He's like, "Those are soft hands." I was like, "Thank you."
You don't want to touch these grubbies.
One thing that 1503 Jose Martinez says this weekend is our best shot at number one. Niners play Baltimore and Eagles play Seahawks. which we already said.
Ooh.
2 possible losses,
Yep.
and if we win at Buffalo, which I think is the hardest game, Crackers, we got
Ooh,
'em.
that had a little.
That
That had a little
That had some
spritz.
spray to it.
spritz, some spritzy spray, which is the hardest game. The final stretch will be number 1.
Well, I like that he brought that up. The Niners have a tough matchup this weekend against Baltimore, and that's going to show you who, according to Ed Edholm's list, the top team in the NFL is right now.
Hey,
Because you got 1 versus 2.
Well, if they crack off the Ravens, then I mean, yeah, without a doubt, San Francisco is in at least the regular season the best team in the NFL.
what time does that game play? I could go look, but
I hope 10.
Oh,
yeah,
Because I would like to watch that.
like to
But
watch
if
that
it's,
too.
if,
Come on
it's,
by.
if it's in San Fran, it'll probably be
Chris
the
and I'll be-
afternoon game.
Chris
If
and
it's
I'll be
in
watching it.
Baltimore.
oh, it's 5:15 on Monday.
Oh, it's a
Monday
perfect
night.
Monday nighter. I'll
Because-
be in Squamish getting drunk by myself watching.
loser.
And screaming at the screen, screaming,
Loser.
wearing a Dallas Cowboys hat and shirt, and screaming at the screen.
No, I'll be wearing my shoulder pads.
Yeah. So, but why I like that game is it's going to really show, okay, Ravens have statistically or rankingly the best defense in the league. You know, people may argue that, but let's just say that they are a very good defense. They're a very good showing of what a complete NFL defense can be. Well, this is going to show, okay, well, can the 49ers, because if the 49ers beat the Ravens handily and put 30 points up on the board, you got to go to the fucking trick bag and try to figure out what to do against these cats.
EJ brought it up. Look at the date of that game.
Christmas.
It's a Christmas game. Eagles Baltimore is Christmas. So they play.
I know. I was looking at the Eagles. The Eagles.
Sorry.
and
No,
who?
sorry. San Francisco Baltimore it's Cardinals versus 49ers this weekend.
Oh, okay. So they're not playing.
No.
I see what you're saying.
Okay.
I see what you're saying.
But either way, okay, so
That's a big game. Hey.
We're jumping ahead.
Guess
but
what?
still a big game.
Guess what we're watching with Christmas dinner.
Oh fuck yeah!
Baltimore 49ers.
And I'm gonna be into my second bottle of Kahlua by that point.
Sweet.
So what time is the Eagles Cardinals game at then this weekend?
Okay, let me get
125.
No, 49ers Cardinals this weekend.
Sorry, 49ers Cardinals.
I think. Fuck me. I don't even know.
Yeah, no, because Eagles play the Seahawks on Monday night this week.
Okay,
Who-
so let me just
yeah,
get the
what-
49ers
Who's San Fran play?
sketch. So 49ers are playing the Cardinals,
Yeah, what time? 125?
105. So
Oh, 105. Okay, so
See?
rolling at the same time as us.
and then Eagles.
Eagles are Giants this weekend, I think.
No, Eagles are playing Seattle in Seattle
Right.
this
Fuck.
Monday night.
Monday night,
Hey,
5:15. Yeah.
I don't know.
So we don't we don't actually get any good before or after games in terms of our rivals, but that's just how
Well,
it
the
is.
Monday nighter, we got to watch the Eagles
yeah.
play against the
Just
the
on
Seahawks on Monday night.
just on Sunday we can't start the day earlier or
No,
you
go
can.
late.
No.
Well, we
You
can.
can't.
Come on.
can.
Well, we can go for breakfast. We can go for brunch with Big. With,
You know that's
Big
not
Chris.
happening.
You're not gonna go for brunch with
Oh
Big
yeah,
Chris?
Big Chris is out.
So
Okay,
it
that's
should
different.
happen.
I mean, we could
For you two, like I'd be like, I might show up a little bit earlier, but Cowboys Chris, yeah, I'll show up earlier.
Yeah, we could do
Like
that.
Cowboys Chris doesn't just want to hang out with me and my kids.
Maybe.
Maybe not. Maybe go fuck yourself.
Well, we could do the brunch, but we'll figure it out. We'll see what Big Chris is feeling, but we could do the brunch at Majors. It's a good little brunch place.
Oh, I thought we were gonna do. Yes, I thought we were gonna do Town Hall. That $7
$4.90.
brunch.
No, $4.99.
$4.99 brunch.
Oh, sure.
$4.99 brunch, but I
'Cause that's
don't.
a Sunday.
This is
Oh,
this
but-
is some behind baseball. It's probably not kicked off in time for us.
Oh,
It probably starts at like 1. So we're gonna be slanging and banging. We're gonna be slanging and banging live.
Slanging and banging.
slanging and banging.
Okay. Well, there's your NFL power
Oh.
rankings.
Brother Adrian says I'll be there with you guys. With you,
Yes, sir.
With you
Use
guys.
Okay, we'll figure it out. We're definitely going to do a breakfast brunch type of hit up. It might be here. Maybe we order a bunch of shit and just fucking make it easy.
A
or,
couple mixed sausages.
Yeah, or we go somewhere. But you know what? We'll figure that out because right now we got a game to talk about, okay? We got the Cowboys at the Buffalo Bills, and at 125 PST.
With Josh, my name is Turnover Allen.
Yep, 225 CST, 325 p.m. EST. And our show is going to kick off 1 hour before that game. And we're going to have that beautiful man, Cowboys Chris. He's going to be live in studio. And Anth, I just want to throw this at you. What are you can say 3 biggest thoughts, but if you have one biggest thought, what has it been leading into this game here for the Bills, who are hosting the Cowboys?
Oh, man. So for me, the biggest thing for the Cowboys-Bills matchup is going to be quarterback protection. Cowboys haven't been the sack team that we've been in years past, and the Bills have been getting after the quarterback as of late. The Cowboys were sacked 7 times in the last 2 games. I would like for us to be able to protect Dak Prescott. I would like to see less than 4 sacks of Dak, and then I want to see our defense get after Josh Allen. I really want to see us have one of those. It's felt like we've missed that out of our defense, right? Like we get a lot of pressures, but we haven't been getting those sack stats. So to me, the biggest stat this weekend's going to be what team has the most sacks.
And we're looking at I just have the.
I just laughed at the sacks comments.
Okay. You're right. We have a formidable defensive line coming up against a lackluster offensive line.
Let me show them.
We're just looking at the PFF numbers here
show them.
For offensive and defensive here. So Cowboys on defense, we got a really strong line. Fowler Jr., the weakest link, and I still, I think that his contribution is quality enough for where he is playing. But we did have a comment from chat about Hankins potentially missing this game. What are your thoughts about Hankins being out, and now potentially we got our number 1 pick, Mazy Smith.
Juice us up there. Juice us up to the 4-3 defense on PFF here. That'll give you a little bit better.
Juice us on that 4-3.
What we're going to be doing without Hankins. Or base defense, whatever they call it on PFF. So there you have it. You have Hankins still in there, who doesn't. They showed that he hasn't had the greatest season on PFF, but we know that's not true. You can't base it just on
45.7 looks like good thing he got injured.
Hey, take your eye test from this year to last year in terms of teams just running up the middle, or even just fucking dominating the middle of the field, regardless. I do think this is the eye test, and it's very biased towards recency, but it feels like Cowboys are plugging holes more than they did last year, especially in the latter half of the season.
Yep.
Hankins has been an absolute asset, and you see right even on this PFF diagram here, they have Mazy Smith beside him, who's actually a 49.6, but we haven't really seen much from Mazy, right? He checked into the game after Hankins went out. We didn't really notice him getting beat because the Eagles at that point were kind of in full go throw mode. They weren't really trying to run it. So this will be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what our first round pick can do. We were critical the day of the draft, the first round pick of Mazy Smith, and we got lit up by Cowboys fans. We really did. People lit us up, said we didn't know shit about football.
Which might be true.
Which might be true.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's not. But because then after we're like, okay, we do like the pick. We were like bullied into liking the pick. But I'll say this, as of now, at this point, going into week 15 of the 2023 season, the pick hasn't paid off. So this is the chance going into the postseason for Mazy to really show if that pick was the right pick or not for this season. Sure, he could still end up being a great pick down the line, but we've said this all the time. You pick a guy in the first round to be good that year.
It seems as though, outside of, what other player have we picked in the first or second round outside of Parsons that has been
Tyler Smith.
Exactly. So
CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah. So when the Cowboys pick Mazy Smith, you're expecting him to start and to perform, right? Whereas he hasn't been that main starter, so they drafted him for what, next season?
Well,
No, I don't like that. Anyone that says we drafted
No,
for
I'm
next
just
year,
I'm asking you.
No, I'm not saying you, but we've had that. Like
it's not a safe space for us here.
It is. I think you took it personal. I think you might have I think Anthony was just answering. But then you took it a little. You took it a little personal.
I'm like a beaten dog that every time I look for food and he says, I'm like, yeah.
No, I know what you're saying because we've got that in chat before where people are like, no, well, they're drafting for next year. Nuh-uh. This team, 12-5 the last 2 seasons, your first round pick better fucking help you next year or the year you draft them.
The year you draft him, I feel.
Yeah.
And after everything you said, I'm on board with that anyways, regardless of how good your team is. It's like if your first round pick should be drafted for a starter because you got to discover this in 2 or 3 years if they're the guy or not. Otherwise, you got to redraft for that position if it's a need, right? So
if the guy's not there to help you that year, if there's not someone on the board at 26 or 25 that's not going to help your team, fucking trade back then and draft someone. Get 2 picks in the second that are going to help you next year.
Now,
right?
Ironically enough, we're having this conversation. Mazy Smith might be starting at defensive nose tackle or DT. And guess who's coming in? Guess who was on the show, sold us on Mazy Smith? Michigan's Michigan's own Big Chris is going to be in-house. So, it's funny how stars align.
I thought
and he might have, if Mazy Smith comes out, has his breakout game, and then is dominant and takes over the starting position from this point on, absolutely love the pick.
But that's why Michigan's own Big Chris is coming out here because he's ensuring that Mazy, who's starting this game, is going to have a good game.
No, and I want to see that. We said it. We talked about it last game. This is the good thing to have happen. Or sorry, looking at the positives. Obviously, don't want to see Hankin get hurt, but looking at the positives, like, okay, in week 15, if your first round draft pick is not capable of playing in the NFL by this point, at least showing signs of like brilliance, then that's a bust pick, and at some point you got to move on. If he's good enough to keep on the roster just to kick around, kick the tires on every once in a while, absolutely you do so. But the first round pick, I don't care if you double down on a position that you already have someone's solidified in. If there's a player on the board who's going to be a difference maker, who's going to start playing this season, then you need to get him on. And this is Mazy Smith's chance to show everyone, hey, I was the right pick and I am the right man for the job. And I think last game we did see some really nice aspects of his game that we haven't been able to see. And some of that could be guys need snaps to warm up, to get into the flow, to get into the rhythm. And maybe it takes 12 for some guys, maybe it takes 20 for another dude. But maybe this is something that's going to benefit Mazy Smith's game. And I just really hope that we're talking about him in a positive light after this game. Win or lose, we know we're going to win. But that at the end of the day, that's what I want to see. If we come out of this game still questioning that number 1 pick, it's not a good sign.
It's the best case scenario for him to start week 15. He's had enough time to be behind veterans. He's had enough time to get, like Michael Clark in the chat saying Mazy's issue is stamina. He gets gassed. Well, you've been practicing an entire season. You should be healthier than anybody else on the line. You've had enough rotations to get kind of that game speed going. Now it's time to step in and become that number 1 pick that you are. Prove it or lose it, son. Prove it or lose it, sister.
Yeah. Well, and it's actually kind of a good thing for the Cowboys with Hankins even. So if Hankins is hurt, but is just on the mend, say for 4 or 5 weeks, and the Mazy thing doesn't work out these next 4 weeks, well, you're possibly getting Hankins back in the most crucial time of the season.
Yeah.
So it's kind of actually, we're going to be in the postseason regardless. Like, it's going to happen. We don't know our seeding yet, but hey, Mazy, show why you were the 24th pick or whatever we had, 22nd pick. I can't remember off the top of my head. Are you that guy? And I'll be happy to be like, yeah, you know what? Because I'm still saying that I don't think it was the right pick.
Yep, me too.
But I'm ready to be wrong. I'm so ready to be wrong.
I'm open to being wrong, and I'm ready to admit it as well. And you will not hear me try to move goalposts on that. It just comes down to having a formidable game. And in fact, if he doesn't even get a sack and just fucking plugs the holes, I'm happy with that. That's what I think he's here.
You know who would have been a dope pick at 1 after watching him play, and he wasn't a consensus 1 pick, but he was a favorite of the show, and he would have helped us right out the get-go. Charbonnet would have fit in absolutely perfect. He would have helped 100% in this offense. And I mean, from day one, he would have checked in, been that guy, the 1B to Tony Pollard's 1A. But you can play that to the end of time. We could have
you know what? I was against the two of you at the start saying that, Rico Dowdle, I'm not really sold on, but seeing more and more of Rico, I'm like, I want to see more of Rico. So like, I get why they didn't go for, I get why they didn't go for a running back high. Cause you got a violent running back, as Jerry Jones likes to say. I liked what I saw. I like what I've been seeing from Dowdle. I want to see more snaps, in Dowdle's Daddle's hands. And I want to see him crunch through the lines these next 3 games.
Yeah, I like Dowdle. I do like Dowdle.
Who is the matchup of the game?
Ooh.
And there we go.
I think it's Josh Allen versus our defensive backs. What Josh Allen are you going to see? The guy that fumbles, the guy that has been the NFL leading interception turnover guy?
Or should you
just our defense?
I say I think it's Josh Allen versus Lawrence and Parsons. That's what I think it is. I think can Lawrence and Parsons put pressure on Josh Allen for him to make mistakes? Can Lawrence?
But the matchup itself then would be D-Law and Parsons versus their offensive line.
Right.
So he's throwing 2 receivers. Like, he's not directly playing against.
Right, I get what you're saying.
He can't decide if Micah Parsons comes at him fully clean, right?
Right.
Well, so in your situation, you're saying it's Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence versus the Bills O-line.
Yeah. So Llama Gamer is saying the one that we all wanted to see at the start of the season, Diggs versus Diggs, but now is the matchup Bland versus Diggs?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Look, I like what the Cowboys are doing with. I would not want them to stick Bland on Diggs, and I don't think that Bland is the type of player who would be like, no, I want to prove myself and like force the team to be like, okay, we're betting on you. Like I like to see them moving those cornerbacks around as necessary. I don't know if they actually move them around, but just not sticking them on a player if the receiver moves around. So I liked how they played against the Eagles.
Gilmore versus Diggs, you think? Then
it could be just a combination, but I like after what we saw with Seattle and then that change that they made at halftime to kind of move Diggs off of DK Metcalf, and I think that's what you got to do. Put
Bland off Metcalf.
Sorry, Bland off. Yes, my bad.
You just did. You know what you just did? Did you see the picture of Bland at the Basket of the Mavericks game, and he's sitting in the crowd, and they have a picture of him on the jumbotron? They have Deron Bland, and sitting at the Mavericks game, and they have Dallas Cowboys cornerback Trevon Diggs.
Oh,
that's fucking! Oh my gosh,
that's hilarious.
But you're right though, because in the Seahawks game, they started having Gilmore follow DK Metcalf in the second half, and then last week he was predominantly matched up with AJ Brown. The difference is AJ Brown and DK Metcalf are big-bodied wide receivers, right? Stephon Diggs is not that guy. Stephon Diggs is more like a JSN. He's more like a Devontae Smith, who are the guys that Bland actually got put up against after and was kind of holding his own.
Well, listen, I have Gabe Davis on my winning team in fantasy football, and he's put up more 0-point games for me this season than I've ever seen any other. This last game, 0 points.
Yeah, he had 0.
0 points. So Gabe Davis is, and now you'll hear the Buffalo team, Gabe Davis is the unsung hero. He does a lot of stuff. Great. If you're a Buffalo fan and you want to win those certain games, or you're trying to win games and Gabe Davis is out there blocking, or he's drawing people away and he's not putting it in the end zone, doesn't help fantasy. But so I don't know enough. I'm so mad at Gabe Davis anyways that I don't know what he's doing out there to stop our boys. But
Mixed drink ad hates Gabe Davis.
Mixed drink ad hates Gabe Davis, and he's one of my guys. He's a Chilliwack Knight. He's one of my guys. But like Kincaid, I mean, I feel like a game like this is going to be a tight end heavy. Cooks on the on Buffalo is pretty deadly. So if he
Had a
starts
great game against KC last week.
he has had some solid games. So I think Cooks is probably someone that we need to be, more worried about. But yeah, as you kind of look at this line and you see the rankings and you see the other games Buffalo's been playing, you look at the record, you're like, everyone's like, oh, we're the murderer's row of the Cowboy season's coming up, starting with the Eagles. It's like, is Buffalo really like that? Like, are we really that worried about Buffalo? The whole AFC right now is in like disarray with records. Like, it's not like outside of Baltimore, there's not really like a clear like dominant AFC team. And I don't know. Buffalo, I'm less worried about Buffalo, which I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
That's a trap. You're getting involved in the trap
exactly.
game.
I'm trapped.
Look, with the trap games too, is it's not going to happen, in my opinion, against a Buffalo team. Buffalo is too consistent enough. Okay,
Too established.
They have quality. For it to be a true, for it to be a true trap game, it would have to be against the Commanders or something. And I don't even know if Cardinal. Yeah, that was a great
Cardinals
example.
is that if you look up dictionary trap game, that's the fucking Cardinals.
Wikipedia
game.
should link to the game.
Well, AJ, what's your matchup? Ad and I both had ours. What's yours matchup for this weekend?
I don't know. I don't know.
I like the thought of tight ends because
Baby.
Pervert alert.
Well, because not only for Buffalo coming up and then seeing how our linebackers who have been playing very well Bell and Clark. They've really been turning on. They've been improved their play. Bell's actually the number 7th ranked right interior linebacker. So I don't know how.
We never ever figured that out without LV getting hurt. I hate to say it.
It's true. But
Bell, Clark, and Overshow next
here's
season.
the thing.
That's all I can think about.
And with Bell, he was in a position where he probably was going to get very minimal playing time with who we had back there with Hooker, Curse, and Donald Dubb. Like he wasn't
getting
only
time.
If someone got injured.
He was having a hard time cracking the roster before.
Yeah, he'd literally be in the same scenario that we see Wanye Thomas in right now. We want to see more Wanye Thomas, but we're not getting it because you got healthy players.
You got healthy players, and so it's been a bit of a godsend. But I think that'll be an interesting matchup because I think I'm not going to say that Buffalo has like exceptional tight ends, but they've got
good ones.
They've got
Knox and Kincaid.
No, they've got a group of very quality tight ends, and so if the Cowboys if the linebackers there can hold them to minimal, I mean, that's just going to help out the wide receivers, the cornerbacks with their wide receiver coverage because Allen's not going to be able to check down to that. And then I think that can really cause a frustrating game. We've seen Allen toss that ball up for a prayer just a couple times this year, and he's got a big arm, so he likes to just fucking launch it. But in terms of the matchup that we're going to see, this is the matchup I want to see, and it is going back to the tight ends. I want to see their tight ends versus our tight ends. How does Fergie do? Does Fergalicious come in, do another hop, skip, and a jump over a player, get another highlight, get another?
Are we in a shotgun if Fergie does a hop?
No, I'll fucking shotgun. Yeah. I'll shotgun if he hurdles someone.
Well, I won't leave. I won't leave the team stranded.
Fergalicious or whatever.
You know, Jay's shotgunning if me and you go to shotgun.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like I think that's good. That's a good matchup to see. Like personally, it's really on Ferguson's. How I see it is, it's really on Ferguson's shoulders to just continue his performance. You know, another 70, 80-yard game, get a touchdown, go ahead, go smack his butt and get into the showers. Like that.
Baby.
That's gonna make me happy, regardless of what the tight ends do. But just in the conversation, I'm looking for that tight end matchup. And also, does that come down to, you know, are we going to parlay that into coaching calls?
You know, it would be funny, a video for us to shoot is seeing if we could hurdle each other.
That would be, yeah.
Just 1v1, see if we could hurdle. The other person has to dive at least at 2 or 3 feet.
Go for the hips.
Yeah, you have to dive low, but
yeah.
One of us will end up breaking our neck.
Yeah.
One of us would end up getting kicked in the face. That's what it would be.
A kick in the face, it would be better than a broken arm.
Yeah, I don't think an arm would be broken. I think someone's leaving with a kick to the face.
You jumping and someone cutting out your legs, you don't think an arm could get broken.
Oh, it could. It just won't happen.
All right, now I'm trying to break your arm.
Bro, I'm hurdling over you.
Yeah,
Bro,
you probably
I'm
would have.
hurtling over
I
you.
think AJ would have the best chance of hurdling one of us.
I don't know. Yeah, he would. Yeah, AJ for sure. I think.
I'm not hurdling anyone.
Yeah.
Like, I'm hoping to kick one of you in the face and just land after.
I'm definitely hurdling over someone.
And is this the first time in CanFan history that no one on the show is wearing sunglasses?
Yes.
It might be.
Well, when you're not in Studs, AJ does not rock the shades. He rarely rocks the shades.
I'll have to look last week if he did or not.
Were you in Stud last week? No, the week before.
The week before.
You weren't.
We were both 000.
Yeah. Oh, right.
So.
Well, yeah. So he definitely wasn't there. He wasn't wearing shades in Mexico.
So what do we got happening?
Well, we got our scoresies and our boldsies, but I'm also trying to pull up our.
Ooh, I like that.
Our bet.
Just wait a sec. I'm going to change that to say scoresies and boldsies.
Scoresies and boldsies.
Okay. No, do scores and bolds first, and then we go to bets.
Yeah. I have to get our.
Got to update it, eh?
Yeah.
Well, he's doing that. Do some chat shit.
Okay, so Forever DC says shut down AJ when told Gilly he was old. It lit a huge fire into Gilly. Hopefully that will keep him going. I'll tell you what, man. Geez, chat's on fire today. It's tough when they're going and we're chatting and when we're chatting, chat's chatting. It's tough to kind of go back and pull up some comments. But I got a couple ones here. Michael Clark says, good. Gilly ain't that fast anymore either. So that's the more advantageous matchup for Gilly. If we're talking about Gilly versus Davis. Darrell Painter says Davis is slower than Metcalf. So if Bland's on Davis, then, he's not going to get, burned as bad as
my worry is Gilly on Diggs.
Gilly on Diggs. Yeah, I think Bland on Diggs. I like Bland on Diggs better than Gilly on Diggs.
And in the last 4 games, Diggs has been held for under 35 yards. In his of the last 4 games, 3 of those games, he's been held under 35 yards.
Crazy. You wouldn't, and his rating's like 74. It's like, when would you ever think that Stephon Diggs is a 74% rating?
This is his last year in Buffalo.
And then he's coming over to Cowboys. Yeah. Forever DC says Allen has had 14 interceptions this season so far, but I'm still worried about him. He is very talented.
He's got that gun.
I think he's very talented at putting the ball in our hands this weekend. Couple people are thinking Micah Parsons is going to have some big sacks. I think our D is going to create a lot of turnovers, similar to the way that we created the turnovers for Philadelphia. Forever DC says our D was stripping fools against Philly. Def needs to continue that versus the Bills. Have to stay aggressive, violent, and nasty. And then we got to bottle up Cooks. So that's another comment we're seeing. Cooks on Buffalo is the one weapon that we don't want to have go off on us. And then people want Parsons to crank it up.
Well, let's look at our betting odds this week before we do. Like, we're going to do betting after, but sometimes this can just help with scoring.
That's true. I like that. I like what you're doing here.
So we got Buffalo -2 on the spread, moneyline Buffalo -130, which might be our bet, and over under 50.5. So
Buffalo's favorited, which is wild.
Yeah. No bueno. I don't like that. Well,
they're saying with the 2. Sorry, what was the spread? -2. They're
-2.
actually saying the Cowboys are usually, if it's an even bet, the home team will be -3. That's just if it's an even game. If it's 50-50, like last week, the Cowboys were -3 against Philly.
Yeah.
Right. This you're seeing Buffalo -2, but they still, for whatever reason, they're saying it's close enough that Buffalo still gets the edge for the point spread because they're actually thinking. I bet you the Cowboys are getting bets fucking favorite here like big time. Okay,
Sure.
the Cowboys +2 here is crazy. Cowboys money line crazy.
We can actually look over here. So we got for the spread, $94 of cash is in Buffalo, and 68% of the tickets are in Buffalo, are for Buffalo. For the money line, 87% of the cash is for Buffalo, and 69% of the tickets are for Buffalo. And for the under, 85% is over cash, and 77% of the actual tickets or the bets are over. So
I don't know what that means.
So it means like of all the money that's being bet right now, 94% of it is being bet that the Buffalo is being bet that Buffalo wins or makes the spread. Okay. Which is only 2, so they'd have to win the game, obviously. And then, but 68% of the tickets purchased. So it's like there's more big bets on Buffalo winning than there are actual tickets. Usually what you'll see is cash percentage up like 70 or 80% with a team, and then the actual ticket spot, because a lot of people are putting like $10 on a victory, and it'll be on the other team. But in this case, it's like Buffalo heavy, which is surprising. And I think it's gonna
make any sense to me.
It doesn't make sense, and it's gonna make our bets good. But let's get our
scores and bolds.
Scores and bolds.
You want me to give you a couple scores and bolds?
Yeah.
So Michael Clark
Give us 4.
Michael Clark says 42-23 Cowboys. Gus says 28-21 Cowboys. His boldy is Turpin returns punt kickoff return to the house. Those are the only 2 that are here. All the other ones are far up, but those are just 2
we'll
ones.
just leave it at that too. So then we'll lead into ours. Who wants to kick out here?
I'll go.
Okay, go for it. No, you go.
Okay.
You go. You go.
I'm feeling
sexy.
Feeling good. Oh, man, I feel like Cowboys are gonna get 30 points or more. So I'm gonna go 34 Cowboys. Couple touchdowns, couple Aubrey kicks. And then for the Bills at home, 27. 34-27 Cowboys.
Okay.
And that's it. That's all. That's the show. Okay, what do you guys think?
44-19 Cowboys.
Wow.
And I think that, sorry, and let me just
Over there.
Let me do some quick math.
Just the night. Ad always just likes just one number. One of the scores he just likes to give the weirdest number.
That's hard to
19. How do you get 19 points?
18. I mean, then
okay, we can change
18's
it.
18's even hard. 18's hard even.
Yeah. How
17, 20, 21.
okay,
17,
17.
20,
Let's go 17.
17's
44-17. That's what I want to go with.
18 and 19 are like very hard numbers to get in the NFL.
But it happens.
It does happen. You're right. It does.
If you look at how on average 19's there, it's there a decent amount of time.
Sure, it shows up on the scoreboard. I don't know that it actually.
I'll find
like
that
an average of teams scoring X amount of points. It's gonna be so funny now if it's like 44-19.
No.
Then stick
you
with
have
it
to now because it's gonna be 44-19.
I said 44-17.
Okay, 44-17
Cowboys.
Anything to go on that, or that's just what's in your heart?
Well, that's 3 field goals from Aubrey, and then the rest are Tuds.
Okay, yeah.
But I haven't given my bold. Are we doing bolds yet or no?
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Cowboys 37, and I'm gonna go Bills 19.
Oh yeah, you dirty dog, you.
Well, because now I have to. Because if they hit 19 and I don't take 19,
that's funny.
It'll just be funny to see. I mean, all it takes is 2 missed extra points on three touchdowns.
So we have a couple other ones in here. Llama Gamer says 28-17 Cowboys.
Okay, I like that.
Forever DC asks, what are the Bills O-line and D-line rank? We'll get to that later, if not ever. Julian 424 says 42-21 Cowboys. Josh Allen 2 picks, 1 to the house, and have 1 forced fumble. Radical 808 says 28-20 Cowboys.
Okay, so obviously, you know where you are, and we know that we are the best mind in sports. And when I say we, I'm talking about us and the Can Fanamaniacs.
That's right, baby.
Mostly the Can Fanamaniacs. So if we're all in consensus that the Cowboys are going to be having, arguably a blowout win, maybe not a blowout win, but a significant win, I don't know what these fucking analysts are smoking. And I ask more people to make bets against the Cowboys because that's going to help our odds.
Yeah.
Well, but this is the thing. I feel like a lot of people are betting the Cowboys because the spread was higher earlier in the week. It was 2.5 earlier in the week, and the only reason it usually drops is if a lot of people are betting one way.
Well, I don't know where PFF is pulling their data here from the cash, but it looks like a majority, majority, over 85% of people are voting cash towards the Bills.
Well, they're gonna feel stupid when the Cowboys smack those bitches. Woo!
Yeah, yo.
Baby. So what are you guys' bets then? Are we doing boldies first?
I gotta do
No,
Boldies.
I'm getting all thrown off because we're talking odds here.
Yeah, Boldies first. So, Anth, you will reverse order. Anth, Adam, me.
Bold prediction. I'm going to stick with Dak Prescott MVP season, 5 touchdown passes, 2 to CeeDee Lamb. That's my boldie. 5 touchdown passes, 2 to CeeDee Lamb.
Okay, like it. That's bold. That's strong.
And I'll say this didn't get talked about in the game preview because one of the things I was worried about was the weather. And it was said in the chat earlier, the weather looks like it's I'm going to say Celsius because that's how we relate and talk about weather.
Yeah.
It was saying like 9 degrees Celsius or overcast 9 degrees.
Yeah, which for
Celsius, which is like, I think like 50 degrees Fahrenheit.
It's not freezing. It's
No, it's like perfect foot. Like if you're running about, like that's going to keep your body cool. There was no call for snow, no call for rain, no sun. Like that's perfect football weather.
Yeah, absolutely.
My bold is 4 Bills turnovers, and 3 of them are going to be for touchdowns.
Holy shit.
Wow. That's 3 screenshots.
Yeah, we're getting drunk.
Big Chris about to be fucked up in the studio.
That fresh bottle of Screech is gonna be gone Sunday.
Yeah, that would be
because it's been when was the last time we've been taking all, like we had a couple of those games at the start of the season. I just feel like I can feel it in my plums. The Bills are doing 4 turnovers this game, and 3 of them are going to the house.
That's bold.
I was gonna go bolder, and I was gonna tell you exactly what the ratio was. One of them's gonna be
4 turnovers, 3 touchdowns off those turnovers is pretty bold.
Yep. It's gonna happen.
Man, I don't know if this is bold, but I'm gonna call out 80 yards and a touchdown each for Ferguson, Cooks, and CeeDee Lamb. Hey, I know. Okay, well, the reason I say this is this: CeeDee Lamb either goes for 50% or 60% of the yards and gets over 100 yards and a touchdown or 2, while everyone else kind of is mediocre in 50-yard range. However, when he doesn't, CeeDee Lamb will go to the alternative is CeeDee Lamb gets about 70 yards and a touchdown. Ferguson gets about 70 yards and a touchdown, or 77 yards. Doesn't really break that 80-yard threshold. Same with Cooks. Cooks would be a 50 to 70-yard guy, or he'll break out for 150 yards, but that comes at the detriment of the other guys because he's getting the ball. So maybe
I'll give it to you. That is good because
I'm saying
I was kind of looking at it as the touchdowns. Like I'm like, yeah, those 3 guys. And my thing is 5 touchdowns from Dak. Those 3 guys would be the top 3 guys that you think are going to have touchdowns. But you're right. A lot of the times when some of them have touchdowns, they have 30 yards or 40 yards in the game. So I think you can roll with that. I think that's good.
I'll throw this out as the other option. 10, 101 for CeeDee Lamb, and then a touchdown for Ferguson and Cooks, or my original 80 yards
original.
for each.
I think
80 yards for each, a touchdown for each. Me too.
I think original is harder.
Okay.
Or bolder.
Okay, so just to recap, that's CeeDee Lamb, Ferguson, and Cooks, all with over 80 yards, and each have 1 touchdown or more in the game.
Forever DC says 4 field goals and 1 touchdown equals 19 points.
Hey, there you go.
And that's pretty rare to have happen.
Yeah. And it's going to happen on Sunday.
That's pretty rare. That's pretty rare to have happen.
Llama Gamer says, I got a new bold. CD Lamb gets a deep ball catch and a TD. Forever DC says right now it says it may be raining. If the weather is bad, could be going into Auto Aubrey for help.
Yep. And I hope it doesn't rain. We haven't seen the Cowboys really have to play a rain game because their offense isn't built to play in the rain. So we'll have to see if that happens or not.
All Even Podcast with Barry Grant Jr. says, just dropping in to say, I love you, my brothers. Salute.
Much love, Barry.
Julian424 says, all right, boys, signing out. See y'all Sunday. Go, boys. Yeah.
We'll see you Sunday.
Let's go, boys.
And then Bocce Eric says, Cowboys 30, Bills 17 for his score prediction.
Okay.
Boots on the ground.
Look, I just want to wrap up here. We've had a wonderful fantasy football season.
Is that what we're going to right there?
Yeah,
fantasy
and
football.
and
then we're betting after that, right?
Did we not do bets yet? Oh, shit. Let's do bets now.
We want to do bets?
Let's do bets now. Okay, so from last week, Adam bet $1,000 on the over and $500 on the spread, and I bet $1,000 on the over. Obviously, we didn't get the over. But it's not a parlay. It's a straight-up bet. So we each lost that 1,000. But then with your 500, you made another 500. Okay? So our totals... moving into week 15 here for the CanFan Bucks, Adam, and we started with $1,000 each. Adam has 1,525 CanFan Bucks, and I have 1,665 CanFan Bucks. So I'm up by 140, and we're playing this for a bottle of
high
top
quality.
Shelf.
Yeah,
top shelf.
Do we have an image? Do we have an image of this stuff?
I don't have an image. This is
okay. No worries.
It's all role playing right now.
It's theater of the mind. I mean, so we were originally going to go mid-shelf drinks, and then Boots gave like 5 super chats to make sure that we had top shelf, so it has to be top shelf now. Yeah. So
Ad's staking his claim. Yep. You guys got to get serious these last 4 weeks.
Okay, AJ, what do you want to go first?
Well, first I'm going to bring up those bets again.
Bring up those bets.
There we go. This is a little bit more of a funkier screen. Let me bring up the actually, Anth.
I can't. I won't bring it up if you bring the actual bets up though. Just for safety's sake.
Okay.
Actually, I can put that up there.
Yeah, this is just on PFF.com. We don't know. This could all be for fun. For
if you have a gambling problem, call GAMBLER.
Hang on.
1-800-GAMBLER.
I got water on this mic or on this mouse, so I just need to. There we go. Clean it off. Okay. Oh, fuck.
Bandwagon Baba says, is the top shelf stuff pretend to like you're betting? I'm not sure what she meant there.
Oh, no, it's gonna be real, and it will not be.
Oh yeah, it's real top shelf stuff. It's not pretend betting. We're pretend betting with a real life consequence.
Yeah.
Let's get into your pretend bets.
Let's get into it. So, Ann,
here we go.
Is the spread and the money line the same as what you're seeing?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think the smart bet here is just money line, but it's also the weakest bet.
No, it's not.
No?
They'll pay out the most.
Really? Okay. Well,
money. We're underdogs. So when you're underdogs, if you think the Cowboys are going to win, that's your best bet. They'll pay out the most amount of money.
I will put I'm going to put $1,000 on Cowboys money line. Once I see what the payout is.
Payout is 1,150 buckaroos.
So that's on top of his 1,000 that he's putting in, right?
Yes.
Well, yeah. Otherwise, it'd just be 150 bucks.
Okay.
1,150.
1,150. And if you bet that same 1,000 on just the +2, it would only pay out 909.
Now, here's the thing. I go first. Adam gets his, and then I get to reprise my bet once. That's
what?
Yes, that's what we've been going with.
Is that how we've been going with?
Well, like no rules.
I think.
That's what we've been doing.
But that's the thing. I think you guys need to be able to do that back and forth until you either have zero money or someone doesn't.
Okay, sure. Like
otherwise, someone will always have an advantage of going first or second.
Yes.
I know.
So I'm just saying, I get if Adam does a a can fan parlay, which is not an actual parlay because we did that once each. Now it's like straight up bets for those. Then I can add on to try to counter his.
Yes.
Just to try to say, yeah.
But I think then he can one time, then just.
But then then we're gonna go forever with that.
But then
true.
until you run out of money.
True. Okay.
So
Otherwise, the person that has more money could just always match that person's bet.
So
That's right.
So
That's
you
right.
did. So which one did you did the money line? Or you did the spread?
He did the money line.
Money line.
And what does the over under pay, Anth? If you were to put $1,000 on the over under?
909.
909. So yeah, the money line is the one to go with.
No.
The spread's the one.
You
to
want
go
the
with.
spread, so you're just gonna match my bet.
No,
You bet money line, Alex.
I bet money line, but my money line. Adam asked which one was more. Money line pays out more than spread.
Yes.
Yeah.
He should go money line. He'd be dumb to do anything other than that.
So how much does $1,200 on money line get me?
The anticipation.
Because I want to see if I win this, if I'll be over top of his winnings.
It would win you $1,380.
Are you doing it?
Well, I want to know what if
I'm not gonna add it up for you.
Well, I got to add it for myself.
Yes, he had $100 more than you. If he wins 1,150 and you win 1,380, then you'll be ahead of him.
You'll be ahead of me by.
You're supposed to be our mentor,
by a cunt's hair.
You're supposed to be our mentor. Don't.
Well, I don't also have to be your calculator.
Yeah, well, I'm looking. Have you seen Alex? I'm trying.
No, but I remember what he said. He had 1,600. You had 1,500.
Yeah.
His bet is 1,150. Yours is 1,380.
Okay, let's just take a 1 second here. Gus with the $5 super chat saying Philly sucks.
Gus.
Okay.
Philly
does
does. I love that.
Worthwhile $5.
GR7 network always with the Philly sucks.
And great content.
Hey, YOLO. Let's do it. Lock it in for me.
Okay, I also want to put 150 on spread.
That pays out $136.
Ugh. Now I'm gonna cancel that. I'm just doing
It's
money
not
line.
worth it. That's what I mean. You would be
Straight
better.
money line.
You would be better off at that 100. It's either you go that 150 just matched up with your money, like on top of your money line bet.
Yeah, because if we don't hit, you're ahead of me. If we hit, I'm barely ahead of you.
Okay, well then I'll do. No, I'm happy with that. We're locking it in.
Yeah, because if we both hit it, we're playing with now the last 3 weeks.
I know.
Ooh, baby. Those bets get interesting.
Okay.
If we don't, then it's like, okay, I'll do $50 on money line. That's what we're gonna be.
Final day. It wouldn't matter if I had $2 and you had $3.
I know.
You would win.
But but you know it's going to be funny at the very last week if you guys are within $100 of each other and Alex can just do bet whatever. The person that has more can just bet whatever and is always going to be on top. The other person's going to have to bet against the Cowboys.
Yeah.
To try to win.
Well, we'll see. I mean, look.
And guess what? I will never do that. So I will just take the L.
Okay.
YOLO.
So
because that's the type of person I am, Anth.
For the bets, we got Adam 1,200 on the money line to win 1,380, and Alex 1,000 on the money line to win 1,150. So at the end of this, win or lose, it's either going to be me still in the lead or Adam taking over by a pocket full of change.
A pocket full of sunshine.
Okay, guys, we do just need to get to Can Fantasy Football, the second inaugural year of the game. Now,
and it's playoffs.
And there's playoffs. And there's two storylines. The first one's not as interesting as the second. First one is last year we went to the finals. There was Cowboys Can Fan Anth, who's over there in AT&T Stadium versus the Bandwagon Boys yourself. We went down to the final week. Bandwagon Boys were set to win the game, and then that unfortunate
Someone nearly died on the
what's his
field.
name?
Damar Hamlin.
Damar Hamlin. Unfortunate injury. Postponed the game and then canceled the game. And so we said, no, we're playing it where it lies. We ended up losing by 0.6 points or something like that. But hey, look, that's how fantasy football is. This year, we're both back in the playoffs. And the only storyline that I want to bring up is our boy, TGR, who will be coming on the podcast before the end of the season. And I think it's the Lions game, or that might be EJ Savage. Commander, sorry. TGR coming on for the Commander. So it'll be a great time for us to chat because it'll be after this fantasy game. But Dallas Cowboys were in last place. Okay, Dallas Cowboys went out and drafted 3 kickers. Was it?
Some of the, 3 defenses or something like that.
Something that you don't
5
need.
quarterbacks.
They were bottom of the barrel.
No, he did 3 teams, defensive teams, I think.
3 defensive teams. Bottom of the barrel, just not the best draft. But guess what? They fought through. They made some great trades, and they actually ended up moving up from last place to 8th place to be able to be in the playoffs. So big shout out. Actually, sorry, Cowboys moved up from last place to 6th place. I've never seen a jump like it. 6 places in 1 week over a victory and some.
That's how close the league was, man.
Our league was so close. Besides Anth and
Saquon D's nuts.
And Saquon D's nuts, Stee and Riker.
Stee and Bandwagon Son.
Yeah, you guys had kind of locked in your playoff position by, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, but it was still very close. But the rest of the league was all could win, could lose. And just big shout out there to the Dallas Cowboys. I hate the momentum that he has going into the playoffs. Playoffs coming from 12th, moving up to 6th, because, that's just the way you want to go. For the games, though, to watch this week, we got, just speaking of you know what, I'll list them all off. We got Saquon D's nuts, a.k.a. Stee and Bandwagon Boy Jr. Versus Deuce. First versus 8th. Then next in the quarterfinals, we got Bandwagon Boys versus our boy Reggie, a.k.a. Playmakers 88. Then we got Daddy Dak, 3rd rank, versus the Dallas Cowboys, who we just gloated about, number 6. And then finally, the number 2 spot, Cowboys Can Fan Anth versus Dak to the future. And is that Bot G?
That's Bot G. And Bot G is in there. Bot G earlier on was fucking talking trash.
Oh, was he?
That's Bot G.
Yeah,
we're going at it.
Bot G's the Can Fan killer in there.
Well, anyways, it was a fun season.
Anth going down to me again, says Bot G.
It was it was a super fun season. We had it was a nail biter all the way to the end. I actually didn't know that Bandwagon Boys, if we had lost last week, we might have not made the playoffs. But
that's the journey that we want.
That's the journey, and it was a lot of fun. So everyone who came out and played, we thank you very much. You'll all have a slot available next season. If we happen to get another 8, 10, 12 people who want to join up,
we had a lot of people ask that. I just
we'll have
I think we could have a second league.
We're gonna open up a regulation league.
Yeah, a regulated league, and then the main league.
So what we would do in that case is the bottom 3 teams or the bottom 2 teams of the main league and the top 2 teams or top 3 teams of the regulated league would switch, and kind of like how I don't know if it's MLS, but just soccer does it in general.
And winner of this league gets a jersey of their choice that we get them.
Unless it's one of us. Then you gotta buy your own.
And then the regulated league, maybe they get just a Can Fan shirt, and then the passage.
No, the regulated league, their win is to get into the
battle.
They get to go to the grown-up table.
In soccer, usually it's the top 2 teams get moved up and the bottom 2 teams get moved down. So maybe we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
We'll iron it out. But hey, not only is it Bills week, we destroyed some eggs. And now we're moving on to those Buffalo Bills. We're going to their home
We're going
stadium.
for some bison. Some bison.
That's very close to Canada. You don't want none of this, son.
You don't want the smoke?
Want none of this, son.
You don't want the smoke. And guys, we have Dallas Cowboys Chris live in studio all the way from Arlington own Dallas Cowboys Chris will be here sitting on
Texas
the
born, son.
inaugural couch with Anth Best. And it sounds like Brother Adrian's going to be scooching in here somewhere. We'll see what happens.
We'll slip him back here. We'll slip him between you guys, whatever.
Brother Adrian will have to be back here with us.
But hey,
Anyways, we'll figure that out when we get to that moment. Guys,
Yes.
if you know somebody who isn't a Cowboys fan, I got something you can tell them. Go fuck yourself!
Love you, chat. Love you, chat. Love you, chat.
how about them boys?